hear that? We cover a lot of musical styles here at MyJoog. Blues, Americana, bluegrass. We don't usually cover something like this. If you notice something else, there's no vocals. Yeah, you could say that they're lyrically challenged. The band is So I Had To. Yeah, that's how you spell it. That's what, at least what they call themselves from now. And you listen, it sort of grows on you a little bit. A little bit of funky bass, some rhythm, a little bit of techno. So, I could listen to this for a while. But the question is, can you listen to it for an hour concert? Or do you need a little help from Brewer's art? We'll find out on MyJoogTV.
We are.
So welcome back. Like I said earlier today, we normally focus on blues, bluegrass, and Americana artists at MyJoog, and so this was the first time we've had a chance to have a band such as So I Had To. And so what really struck me is how do you guys describe your sound?
Well, it's instrumental.
This is what I called lyrically challenged.
No, definitely not lyrically challenged. We're like lyrically free because most singers are kind of a pain. It's I don't know. Help me out here. It's kind of like
I think the age-old adage that we've been using is that it's like a cross between Tool and Pink Floyd with no words. And so I think
maybe
that's
not Tool. I don't like that reference.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't like that band.
Man, we're like 5 minutes in. This interview sucks.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's we get a little bit spacey. We get a little bit melodic. It's pretty rhythmic, but another way to look at it is like theme music to a film maybe. It's very mood oriented.
There's a lot of emotion to it, and we try to tell stories with music. I mean, there's certain chord progressions, there's certain instrument combinations that can definitely affect your mood, and we really try to tell stories with the way that we write music and the way that we play music is really like to make people sort of understand like an underlying emotion, but not actually tell them a story with the singer saying, okay, I went here, I met this girl, we went on a date, we broke up, and that was it. We really try to tell stories more about like, try to give people kind of the impression of whatever emotion we're trying to convey, and then let them kind of tell the story for themselves.
Right, and we give them a head start with the song title. It's like it's something about the way we parted, and then we play it.
So how do you compose something like that?
Takes a while. We sort of sit down. We kind of come up with sort of like an idea of sort of like, okay, like we got a lot of songs that are pretty somber. Let's do something that's really triumphant, right? And so that'll be sort of like we'll start out with an adjective, and then we'll try to write a song sort of about that.
Right.
And then really the song will start to write itself. It's like, ooh, this is really cool. And this is like the part where the dude is like running through and he's got a sword and he's trying to get all his friends out of the den of vipers or something, whatever. I mean, like I think that's been said.
Something like that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so we'll actually be like, oh yeah, this is what this part is. And so we kind of visualize sort of what these parts mean. But it's all written collectively. It's not like somebody comes in with an idea and says, okay, here's the song. Like we all sit down, we all just jam until something sounds good.
And there's a lot of improvisation just when you're playing.
When we're writing, there's some improv,
Yeah.
but for the most part, we try to keep it structured so we know where we're at, and we want to write a song that's pleasing to the ear to any listener, not just a music nerd, for lack of a better term. Like we want everybody to appreciate it. So it's like whatever sounds best, and then we take it from there.
So how long have you been playing together?
We've been playing together for 4 years.
Yeah, just under 4 years.
A little over 4 years.
So how did you guys come together?
Well, I actually went to school with Duff years ago, and we had a mutual friend that at the time was working for you, Chris Donahue.
Oh yeah.
And he had mentioned
Good guitar player.
Mentioned that they were looking for somebody, so I looked it up, saw it on I guess it was MySpace or something like that, and sure enough they were. So I just sent an email over and set up the audition. And I think Honus was
I was
friends.
brought in by our old guitar player that
Yeah.
I used to work with at a guitar factory, and actually Lucas and I were looking to start a band, and I ended up auditioning for So I Had To and got the job, and then Lucas does his own thing, and I played with So I Had To for the last 4 years, and then we brought Lucas on in the last year. Yeah, so.
Was this something that you guys, collectively decided, hey, wouldn't this be a neat thing to do, or is it just like one idea and then you bring in another person?
Well, the band's evolved over the years, so
Yeah.
and the sound has changed with the different players because everybody plays different. Everybody
So
brings
basically,
something to the
everyone buys into the concept of the framework of what you guys want.
and then we play the way we play. So
I mean, I think that's one of the best things about our sound is that it really is a composite of everyone's style.
because we all have very very different likes and
Likes,
Very
dislikes,
different.
our
Well, let's get
backgrounds.
into
are
that.
totally
I mean, what did you listen to when you were younger? That really got you into music.
When I was younger, I mean, I was more into Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Pearl Jam, things of that nature. And then as I got older and went away to college, I started really getting into progressive prog rock. Started listening to a lot of math rock, odd time stuff, but then also a lot of jam bands. So I'm bringing forward kind of more of a like a noodly mentality than somebody like like a Honus, which is much more structured. So it's kind of good because he kind of reins me back and says, no, you're doing too much or whatever it might be.
So, Ernest, what did you listen to?
I started out as like a little metalhead back in the 80s, and then it just kind of morphed into punk, and that's pretty much what I listen to and enjoy is like old school punk music.
And even today?
And today there's a couple new bands that I like out, like Anti-Flag and Strike Anywhere and stuff like that. I like stuff that's fast, heavy, and has a good melody. And where it comes into this band is like I will bring in the influences of playing fast and kind of blend it with what everyone else is doing, and the melody kind of happens through this the way we write and the way Tim plays his guitar, the way Duff plays his bass, and I'm just sitting there trying to just count to 4 and not speed it up. So.
So, Duff, who did you listen to when you were younger?
When I was younger, man, I had the Jackson 5 Victory album was my first vinyl. Yeah, totally. It was the picture disc. It was really cool. I think it was great.
Still have the Sergeant Peppers.
Oh yeah, totally. Man. So I grew up like actually listening to like old school hip hop. That was like my big thing was old school like Tribe Called Quest, Eric B. and Rakim, like old school. And then from there I kind of moved into classic rock. Started listening to a lot of Zeppelin, Floyd, AC/DC. Just all the sort of good classic rock bands that all like the older dudes that went to our school listened to. And then from there I kind of moved into more like once I actually started playing bass, I started listening to things more like bands like Clutch, bands like Fu Manchu, Nebula, Caius, that whole sort of genre of sort of like desert rock. And then like getting into things like Radiohead and Sigur Rós, and then Explosions in the Sky and Mogwai, and sort of like all.
How do you have
the-
time to listen to all that?
Man,
That's
it's just, like all of our I think between like the four of us, our eyeballs are probably
iTunes is taking over the world.
yeah, dude, we got so many different bands that we listen. I mean, like I'll listen to anything from Nancy Sinatra to Burnt by the Sun. You know what I mean? It's just,
Now that you can just plug in and steal someone's entire music collection, it's pretty easy to end up with more music than you'll ever listen to. And
I like Nancy Sinatra though.
Oh, there's still
we
some
listen to a lot of that on tour.
I probably still have stuff in my iPod I've never listened to.
Oh, thank you so much.
And so, Lucas, what did you listen to?
I've been all over the place. Growing up, probably a lot of just standard like Nirvana and stuff for my age. Real big in old Alice in Chains and Primus and that kind of stuff. But I go as far as King Crimson, Spinners, Temptations. I'm kind of all over the place.
Actually, Jonas, I'll take that.
All right,
So, it wouldn't be MyJoogTV without something nice to drink. And so today we're drinking beers from Brewer's Art. And I got the idea to see if Brewer's Art would want to participate because I'd actually had a conversation with this colleague, Jeff, who got up, and it's not going to come out that much. I wouldn't worry about it. And
Duff was a little premature, shall we say.
He's used to it.
And
It's
so I
no big
asked
deal.
Jeff, what his favorite beer and brewery were, and he had mentioned that it was Resurrection Ale and Brewer's Art, and so I thought that would be a nice brewery to bring here. And so, you guys familiar with the brewery?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar with most breweries.
Yeah, they're a Baltimore institution. I mean, like, Brewer's Art is, it's a great restaurant, great beer. I mean, like,
Yeah, so I was always familiar with Resurrection Ale just from some of the in Columbia that's actually sold at a couple bars down there. But it's definitely a great beer. I mean, it's a type of beer that you want to savor, like a Scotch or a bourbon. It's not something that you want to just pound down. I mean, they just really do a good job. And unfortunately, with summer being a Sunday, nobody from the brewery could be here today, so we're sort of representing the Brewers Art for ourselves.
and enjoying the product.
Yes, definitely. It's delicious.
So right now it's actually in the cans, which you don't really see some really nice beers in cans, but there's really no difference between can and a bottle. It's sort of just somebody's interpretation of canned beer, but once you pour it into a glass, you get all the aromas, all the flavor. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that probably even I think one of the arguments that actually stays keeps longer in a can too. So
It
there's
does.
really
Stays
nothing-
colder too.
There's no light that goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can.
So,
I prefer cans.
It's
And-
neat. The company that designed the new labels for all of Brewer's Art is also the company that designed my website, Mission Media. Random piece of trivia right there.
Yeah. So actually we'll be getting to the second beer a little bit later. It's a seasonal beer. We don't know much about it.
It's an ale and it's crisp.
It's not bad.
It is crisp. It's really good. It's
So
an
it's-
appley.
Yeah.
As soon as we finish our resurrection, we'll get into this and we'll let you know what we think about it. But it's different. When I was younger, and came of age of drinking, there wasn't much choice for drinking beer. I mean, to me, something exotic was a bucket of rocks at Fager's. Really, there just wasn't anything there. So what about you guys? I mean, did you guys, when you got of age, was there sort of, because at that time the craft beer industry was sort of
I'll start with
regional.
that one. What was it? The Baltimore Brewing Company? Is that the one?
BBC,
Yeah, that's where I spent a lot of time as a young adult, and I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember the beer was delicious.
Now, were they right in the harbor area?
They were on like
Yeah, they were right down
Pratt Street or Lombard?
near like Little Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they would
was a nice
they
brewery.
would sell those gigantic bottles of
Growlers.
Growler.
Growler.
Yeah.
And and big tables. It was a good place. That's mine.
Yeah.
Yours?
I think my first time I ever had was sort of exposed to microbrew. I was a pastry chef at a hotel in Colorado, and there was like Fat Tire was out there, which is good beer.
Fat Tire's great.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
real good
Man.
beer. Yeah, was that it's funny with like something like Fat Tire. Like some people love it, some people don't. It's just one of those beers you gotta try it and see if you like it. But the biggest one I think out there was this place called the Denver Chop House. It's this huge steakhouse that they had in Denver, right downtown, and they brewed their own beer. And I actually almost gave up being a pastry chef so I could go brew beer because it's really similar to baking bread. Beer is basically liquid bread, and if you can bake
That
bread,
makes you feel funny.
yeah, it does. And it was one of those things where I really
fermented probably will too.
it will. I mean, that's that's kind of how they made it. But I really kind of fell in love with like just the process of like brewing beer. And I don't drink now. I mean, like I took a couple sips off this just to taste it, but like I can't have any more than that. I'll be drunk. But it was one of those things where I so love the process, and especially at the Denver Chop House, like those guys did a really good job.
But you couldn't build cool things with beer.
I don't think you can build cool things. Probably beer cans. I think
Right.
you could. You could build a beer can for
You
you.
can decorate the label.
Yeah, that's about it.
But
Yeah.
even because you grew up though in Massachusetts, there, right? I mean, that seems
Yeah.
to be the birth, or besides the West Coast, on the East Coast, where craft breweries, really.
Yeah, I mean, we had Sammy A, and I think everyone's really proud of Sammy A. It's kind of one of those beers that really sort of grew and sort of became, a bigger beer. God, like in high school when we were drinking like Heffenreffer, like malt liquor,
Mhm.
the
That's
cheap
one I've
stuff.
ever heard of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was nasty.
What about you, Tim?
Well,
A little bit.
I used to steal my dad's Coors Lights when I was in high school, and then when I went to college, it was all about natural ice, Bud Ice,
Wow.
Red Dog.
You're admitting
It
to all
was
this.
I was
Mickey's.
beer.
And
Well,
no,
it's a lot of
there-
financial reasons.
The reason that I mention this is because I didn't actually get into better beers until much later in my life. I mean, I went straight from all these like nasty beers to just like not drinking beer really and going into more like single barrel bourbons, and then I got real big into wine, and I went through this whole like wine thing, and then it's actually probably only been about, I don't know, 3-4 years that I've actually started drinking good beers, and I love them. I mean, it's like you were mentioning earlier, when you pour it, you're still getting the aromas out of this beer, even though it's in a can, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, that's something now that I'm more appreciative of. I started looking at it more like a fine beer, like a fine wine. But yeah, I mean, my beer story is much later, just because all of my early experience with beer was not good.
What's the cheapest one in a 12-pack?
The cheapest wine in
No,
Toronto?
like
Well, that would be your selection criteria.
Yeah.
Natty Bow,
Natty Bow.
Yeah.
which I
Well,
still drink quite often.
But you know that. But
You look like you drink.
there's a perfect place for a beer like Natty Bow. I mean, to me, Natty Bows are great.
Yeah, at a punk show, man. If you
At
say
a
anything
show
but a
tonight,
Natty Bow,
at the
something wrong.
beach.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
perfect beer for the beach. It's
Yeah.
after cutting the lawn or riding a bike, coming home. That's first thing I break out. You don't want to have one of these.
I will say that my wife's actually turned me on to something, and that's Baronas, and it's because it's a Natty Bow in a can with a lime, and it's called a Barona, and she drinks them at football games, and she loves it.
All right.
Yeah,
God
so
bless
it's-
Baltimore.
It's thumbs up with the Baronas.
But they don't even brew Bow in Baltimore.
I-
now.
I-
It's
I
like
don't
brewed
know.
in like Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
All right,
know.
so what do you call it if you put the lime in a Colt 45?
A Coltoma.
Coltoma?
Corona?
Corona.
Thanks,
Colorona.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, this is
seasonal.
Actually,
Nice and crispy, man.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
really
Let me get to
good.
that.
This is a good beer.
So you guys actually, before this, were telling me some of the neat places. So first of all, just you all have busy schedules. You all have other projects.
Right.
And so from what I can see, you guys play once a month, twice a month.
It depends on really on what we're offered, what we find, what our schedules are, and just
I would have to say that generally speaking, we play a little bit more often than that.
This summer's
this
been a little
summer
slow.
has been different because I got married. He's been out doing his thing. So
I've been
there's-
raising my
he's been-
my kids.
his,
and-
so there's things that pull, and that's fine. We need every band needs some
break,
time
yeah.
to take some time off, and that's fine. And then when we come back, we'll play a couple shows, and then there's probably gonna be another slow time. That's fine. I mean, but when we are actually out playing, it's actually probably like 3 times a month, I'd say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you guys
we-
did mention you went all the way up to Alaska,
Right.
which is pretty far for anybody to go. But do you guys just stay mostly around the Baltimore region, or you
No.
go up to?
Yeah, we try to
I
play
really
it like as far away from Baltimore as possible, as often
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we love Baltimore, but for some reason, when we go to other towns, it's more of an event. I mean, because Baltimore's a big city and there's a lot going on, and we're from here, everybody knows us. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, we'll see them next time, maybe not. But when we leave town, it's a different vibe, and
Yeah, we played like the Jamestown Ice Arena.
Right.
Packed it. I mean, it was
Oh,
huge. It was
awesome.
crazy. And
Yeah.
like, shows like that are awesome because like we get all the way to Jamestown, New York. Go up there, have no idea what we're walking into.
no idea.
That place is packed. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
That is cool because you don't expect
Right.
this people to know who you are there.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Right.
That was when
Autograph
we left
line
Baltimore. It was
afterwards.
like 80 degrees. When we got there, it was snowing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's like there's been so many towns that we've played that have been like, like at Harrisburg we played. What was that brewery?
Appalachian Brewery.
Appalachian Brewery, yeah, Abbey Bar at ABC, which was awesome.
That was really cool. And then, what was the place in? Was it Madison, Wisconsin?
Yes, there was a place in Madison, Wisconsin.
What was
I
that
have
place?
no idea
And
what
it
the
had,
name
like,
of the
There's
place
many
was.
places in that.
But it was like a
Yeah, that was pretty
restaurant,
cool.
and it had
No. That was in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
You sure?
I got the duck po' boy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
Did
Did I get the
When
chef's
we got-
revenge?
Yes,
Yeah, the
Chef's
chef's
Revenge.
Okay,
right, right.
That was
That was
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Pretty far out there.
Yeah.
Now, are
Been
these
around.
just weekend trips, or you
No,
guys
we go
go
to
for
Florida.
That
Florida.
was a
Yeah.
couple weeks on the road, yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of weekend trips, and that's generally how we book our shows because we all have things to do during the week, and we'll take the weekend and do like 2-3 shows and come back home. So
It's usually my fault. I'm contractually obligated to be certain places
Sure.
at certain times, so I can't really, go on tour that much. But when I can, we do it, and when we do it, it's hilarious.
So have you played at other?
And when we went on tour, we And that way.
Great debauchery.
See the guy off the edge there, Brett. He came with us too.
Yeah, he lost his shoe.
So
He lost his shoe.
I lost my shoe. No.
No, I believe that was me
Yeah,
that lost
Brett
Brett's
lost
shoe.
In an ice
We
storm.
were sitting in the
Brett
back
had
of the
one
van, and Tim didn't want to drive, so we switched spots, and somehow I knocked his shoe out.
Oh, we were playing at the Mojo, and I lit off that big cake of fire.
Oh, that was hilarious.
It flipped over. It was shooting like at the bar.
I was
Oh, that
firing
was
mortars
awesome.
against the ground
Yeah.
next to the other band's van.
So
We're running down the alley away from
So you're
the
another band's nightmare.
Yeah, we have a
No,
really
they
good
loved
time.
it.
Yeah,
They loved it.
they were digging it, man. It's one of the, like, it's like we get out, we go on tour. It's like, we all have sort of like our daytime lives that we have to lead, and when we're out on tour, we get to kind of cut loose.
We are hooligans.
So
Yeah,
that's
we
why
were
you always
definitely
go with the fake names, or they're not the
Right,
fake names.
they are fake names.
No last
It is
names.
fake
No
names.
last
They are fake
My
names.
name is my name.
Except for Lucas, he's really
Yeah.
loose.
So is there any place that you've played at, or you played once or twice, and you just think, wow, we're playing there again? That's really cool.
The House of
House
Blues
of
in
Blues,
Atlantic
yeah.
City.
Yeah.
Atlantic City, you played there?
Yeah, we've
House of
done
Blues
that.
played
We've done
three
it 3
times,
times.
yeah.
We opened for Clutch, then we opened for Black Label Society, and then the last time was opening for Ace Frehley, which
Ace
was
Frehley, yeah,
really
that was
cool.
really awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
So, yeah.
We got a
Hopefully
really
they'll
good
have us back.
relationship with C3 Productions, who does all the booking for that House of Blues, and they know that we can be relied on to. We'll bring a crowd, and we are. If they give us a call 3 days in advance, like, dude, somebody just bailed. Can you guys come up here and play? We're like, yeah, sure. So we come up there, play a show, get free rooms, get to hang out in Atlantic City for a couple days.
Plus it's a short drive, so it's not
Yeah, short
it's not
drive,
bad at all.
and it's such a cool room. And the guys that work at House of Blues are the coolest people.
Right.
in the
Professionals.
industry. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, totally.
And they like us.
Yeah, they love us.
Never
They're just
had
like,
bad
you guys are
experience
such
with
not
them.
divas. You show up and you're like they asked us like what we want in our dressing room. We're like, some Gatorade and pizza. I don't know.
And beer, and beer.
And beer.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
whenever we
want.
can ask for beer,
We're
we
not
get
using
it.
lines.
Yeah,
Right.
and they're
There's
like,
always
oh, are
the
you
chips
sure
and
that's it?
salsa.
You don't want like a buffet or we're like, what? What are
No.
you talking about? Like, no, we just want pizza and beer. Like that's We'll sleep in the van. If
That's
you don't
how
have
we
rooms.
roll.
It's like whatever. But yeah, it's fun. That's definitely a fun room to play too. And you always get a good crowd. You get a lot of people that are just really excited about music. They love. They're in Atlantic City. They're surrounded by casino stuff, and it's almost like a little vacation from all that. They can go into House of Blues and just see a band. And they really dig that stuff. And plus, we get to play with people like Clutch, who are just
Which
That's awesome. Yeah.
You can't argue
So I
with
shared a
that.
stage with Ace Frehley, and to me that's just unbelievable.
It's awesome.
I mean, he's one of the rock icons from the very beginning. When he started blowing up huge. So that we didn't get to meet him. They brought him in, took him right the hell out.
Got on his
But
plane.
it was still
Yeah.
cool. His band was real
The
cool.
same deal with Zach Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, his band was real cool too.
Right.
His
Black
drummer
Label was
awesome,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nick, right? Nick from Black Label.
Yeah.
He's been a friend of ours.
Yeah,
for-
we've been texting back and forth. It's like, and we make friends with these guys. They're just, these are in these huge bands, and they're just like, oh man, you guys are awesome. And it was really funny because I actually know some of the guys in Clutch, and we played with them, and we played our set, and they were coming off, and the bass player Dan was looking at me. He was like, Duff, and I was like, yeah. He's like, I didn't know this was your band. I was like, yeah. And he was just like, whoa. He's like, you guys are awesome. I was just like, thanks.
Yeah.
Like it was really hilarious.
Clutch thing was cool.
Yeah, that was great.
I still like the PRS party. We played
Oh,
and Zappa
yeah.
played Zappa,
Yeah.
closed the show.
Yeah, that was really
that would be
amazing.
neat.
And
It was great, but we had School of Rock playing before us.
Oh, they were
We-
fantastic.
Yeah, they're good.
They're
They
incredible.
crushed Cashmere.
Cashmere.
They're
Okay, this is like
beautiful.
14-year-old girl, 13-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can't follow a band like that.
It
No!
was-
Yeah, they were
You can't.
incredible. And it's just like,
Yeah.
this girl, she must have been like 4'0" belting out Cashmere better than
Oh,
Robert
yeah.
Plant. Like, they were just killing it, man. It was crazy. I was like, what? And then after us was Zappa Plays Zappa, and I was like, come on, man. I was like, man, we got to step it up a little bit,
Yeah.
Like, that was a cool party. We got to make a cake for that party, too. They were
Yeah.
introducing a new amp, and so we made a cake that looked like the amp, and that was really fun.
Yeah, PRS guitars. They treated us well. So.
It's a class act, those guys.
Oh,
Really,
nice.
really cool.
So going into the fall, is there anything, do you guys have a schedule yet? Anything to look for?
Jamestown
we're,
wants
we're
us
looking
back.
looking back to Jamestown and
Now, is
possibly.
that upstate New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up by
it's
Buffalo.
by Buffalo.
Buffalo.
That's where Lucille Ball was born.
Yeah.
Right,
And the museum's right across from the stadium that we play.
And right now we're going through a little transition, so it's like we're going to focus more on writing some new material. and recording, and then we'll worry about touring. So right now we're just in writing mode and conceptually like brainstorming.
We got to play a show last night with our producer, so that was kind of cool. And,
Yeah, the guy who produced our record was
Yeah,
in the band right after us.
Yeah, so
and
we
it
got
was so good.
Yeah, they're great, and he's absolutely stoked to be working with us again. And we're gonna go back in, and when the material's done, put out the new record, and then play some shows to support it. So
Okay.
it's a matter of getting the record done first, and then the shows are gonna follow.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out here with us, and
Thanks,
you know,
Todd.
make sure you go to MyJoogTV, and we'll make sure we have if we have a new website and all the new information where you can follow these guys and where they're going to be. And next time you're in Baltimore, make sure you stop by Brewer's Art because it's some really good beer.
And they have really good
Delicious.
garlic fries.
Garlic
Yes.
fries, the garlic rosemary fries are ridiculous.
Awesome.
Yeah, their food's good. Yeah,
Food is very, very
So
good.
stay
The beer is
tuned
great.
for a couple songs from these guys, and we'll see you next time on MyJoogTV. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bully!